Good morning, everybody. I'm like 30 seconds late. It is Friday, April 27th, 2018. And we have had some movements. We have had quite a few movements, actually. GDP, well, not GDP, what is GDP? Man, I cannot remember. Where are you at? Oh, well. Actually, I can look right here. Oh, on-farm payrolls, all that jazz. Just came out. Let's take a look here. Let's pull up our trades. Okay, so really only had one short we were looking at yesterday, just because markets were kind of indecisive when we were on, and that was a short of the pound dollar at 139.83, and very obviously that has has worked out pretty nicely. There was like 150 pip drop in the pound dollar. Just pretty significant. Overnight. And unfortunately, I took profit too early on this. So it's kind of a bummer. Alright, now let's take a look at... my list got all rearranged because I accidentally organized it by alphabet when I meant to do it with another watch list. So, all right, let's take a peek at the euro. Euro continued to show some weakness, fell through here at the 121.33. We've been holding below that for a while, all week, it seems. Tried to retest, failed, moved lower. And let's look at this on a daily, and we can see that it has... I think we're really at the... If we put the Ichimoku up here real quick, we're still at the very beginning of a nice drive down, and so we should anticipate lower prices going ahead here. Looking at gold, similar situation. On the Ichimoku, we have not had the lagging span break below yet, but certainly that will be something to watch happen here fairly soon, I would guess. If we want the lagging span to break below the cloud, we're going to have a, relatively soon, we're going to have a steep drop in gold. And what that would mean is we would also, if that doesn't happen, we'd have to wait, until, I don't know, the 13th of, not the 13th, I'm trying to think here. Probably have to look until the 23rd of next month, which seems like a long wait. I don't think we'll have to wait that long, though. Gold certainly has, we should expect it to test this trend line down here. Once it breaks below this 1x8 angle, we should see another fallout in prices. Dollar index was talking about this zone this week and how it acts as a natural reversal point. It's not as strong as a natural reversal point as a pivot in time and price, but this is a square of time and price. So, it'll be interesting to see how the market wants to react to this level. We have to take a look at it from a lot of perspectives. Like if we look at it by the weekly, we're looking fairly bullish here. Like we have a pretty bullish setup. All right, if we look at it on the daily, it's kind of meh, a little extended. On the monthly, we're really nice. So that's kind of a difficult trade setup here going into the weekend. It's a hard one to sell, to hold on to, then on the dollar index. Pound again, really weak. probably the best trade we've had all year, because we did start the short up here, and we've been falling down ever since. New Zealand dollar. Again, I'm gonna go ahead and put in a buy at this level because it just, I mean, probably wait until see what happens later on in the morning here, or at least we'll wait until GDP. Let's see, GDP annualized was 2.3, is better than expected. Let's see, product price index was worse than expected. Employment cost index was better than expected. CPI expenditures, core personal consumption expenditures were better than expected. All in all, good signs in the U.S. economy. Now we just want to see how these price levels will play out here. Could anticipate lower prices. May consider going long at the end of the day as long as we're still above. Yeah, that would be the trade. I tell you, my buy signals that on my indicator that I've created, they don't show up that often on daily charts, but when they do, it's usually something to take notice of. So I'm gonna put in here. You know what? Hang on. Long is still above 0.7301. Near EOD is end of day. Okay. Let's look at the Aussie dollar. Now we did fall through that. This is, we were anticipating coming all the way down to the 75, and that's more than likely where we're going to go. We don't have a lot of support below us here in our market geometry, and we are still below the cloud. Still have all those selling conditions. There could be a bigger drop now. This guy, man, the pound dollar is just not finding any support anywhere. It is a real drive down. It's been and I think gold, this morning we may see gold fall below this structure here. I can get rid of this here. This angle is acting as support, but it may break. Gold may have another leg down this morning. That is certainly a scenario we can see play out. If we close below this conversion line, the blue line here on the hourly, that would be a good sign that we are going to continue to move lower. The dollar index jumped up a lot too, man. Just screaming along, man. That is cool. Gold, I think we're going to get pretty heavy on the gold trade here. Dollar yen, let's take a look at that. Okay, now the dollar yen is near a pretty important area. We can get rid of these. We may experience another big drive up from this zone. This is a mid harmonic 109.58. That should be a very tough zone to break above. We have been testing that value area for the last 3 days now. So be aware of that. Yep, gold is looking weak here. It's looking like it's falling. Yep. We're going to start another leg down probably. Let's see, Aussie dollar even showing some continued drive down. Let's see, what's the euro doing? Oy. Yeah. Man. Some big moves. Cool moves. US dollar, Canadian dollar. Oh, hey, look at this. We may get a long in here because we are in this arc and we may break out above. There may be a long trade in here, folks. That would be a break above 129.03. All right. Dollar Swiss. Doing its thing here. Gold trying to claw back, but not having really any. Still really heavy on the selling here. We'll see what happens near the end of the hour. Got about 18 minutes left before that happens. Oh, let's look at some other pairs. The pound, New Zealand dollar. Structural bounce here. Pound yen, structural bounce, euro, yen. Those all look different compared to the dollar yen. Oops, where are we at? Okay. Yeah, we'll see if we get a nice breakout above there. Something to pay attention to. New Zealand dollar. Trying to find a little support below. It's below this arc. Yeah, I mean, gosh, there's a lot of reason to have some short-term support here. But I mean, this really just could be another area that we drop down below, so we want to be careful. What was I clicking on? Okay. Aussie dollar, Canadian dollar. Oh, the euro and Aussie dollar were a good trade. EURUD. Where are you at? This was a good trade earlier this week. I don't know if we actually went over this one. I was keeping track of it, but I don't think we actually looked at it to take a trade on it off the top of my head. Let's take a look at cryptos real quick. We haven't done that recently. So Bitcoin, we had a big drop on Wednesday. Wednesday's drop was an interesting drop in Bitcoin because we had there was some news that came out that Mt. Gox, the conservator of the Mt. Gox issue, had transferred 16,000 Bitcoin or something like $190 million worth of Bitcoin, and it got moved on the blockchain, and they were keeping track of it, and they weren't sure where it moved to, but there's a theory that it was possible that it was sold below market value to another buyer, and that's what this dip did. Because when I looked at the short interest from the various places that you can short, like BitMEX, Bitfinex. There was really no short participation. This was all long liquidation, and so that's a pretty healthy sign of that this recovery is based on that. I mean, we probably, that's not for sure that we have a um, that's what happened, but it's, I don't know how much that makes a difference. But otherwise, Bitcoin has, we're sitting at the 618 retracement zone of this original swing high to the dip down here, and we're not selling off from it. It looks like we may want to continue higher from that zone. So, the next level is 10,000. So keep an eye on that. Kind of slowing down a little bit in our Forex markets right now. Keeping an eye on gold though, because gold is the mover that's going to be kind of giving us a big surprise one way or the other here, and it is. We are coming off of these. It's an extended condition in the composite index, but not in the RSI. Now, looking at gold on a long-term basis, let's look at this on a monthly. On a monthly chart, this is pointing in in a down direction. It's sloping, its pitch is down. And so we are in a more sell biased than a long biased condition on the composite index on the monthly. And this is a pretty bearish looking candlestick as well, right? It's not a very bullish looking candlestick. Arguments could be made that we are forming a pivot here, but no. Ideally, we would close below the low of last month. I really don't think that's going to happen this month. I mean, we've got one more day, trading day left in the month. We'll have to see what happens. On the weekly, banked off of here. Technically, we do have a buying condition, but it has not sloped up yet, so not interested in that long opportunity because there's not one there yet. And, really maybe our first support zone we should look at is maybe the 1300 zone, because that's going to be right at the top of the cloud. That's going to be right at the baseline. So really a return down would not be a bad play. And then on the daily, we are looking we're in an extended condition for a bounce of some sort. We'll see if that lasts. Certainly there's this previous price action that will act as a kind of a historical support zone. We'll have to see. I wouldn't trust it, because the pound is leading the charge lower. The euro needs to get there as well, and then gold needs to begin its drive down too. Gold is kind of the structural laggard on these charts, so it's a good short to wait and hang on to. Let's look at our Canadian dollar. Well, on the daily, we're a little extended. The hourly. Oop, looking a little peaked right there. Doesn't like that. Mm-hmm. 10 more minutes left in the hour. We'll see what happens after this. See what kind of market activity. UJ. Eight o'clock is going to be a kind of a telltale sign of what we're going to end up doing today. Just kind of waiting it out. Again, Fridays are not the best trading days, especially I'm going to say it I say it every Friday that every hour we get closer to the U.S. lunch hour is when there's less and less participation till it eventually just kind of dries out because that the Tokyo sessions end, London sessions end, and then pretty much after that the U.S. traders are done. Oh, I will say though that I want to share some news. This guy. This is great news. FX trader sentenced to 2 years, sent directly to prison. So this guy's for HSBC, he was one of their Forex traders, which is kind of a silly name because it's not the kind of trader you would think. This is a person a market maker, facilitates massive exchanges of currency. So he got arrested and accused of front running. And front running is illegal, immoral, and it is everything. Front running is a great example of everything that people hate about brokers. Front running is this. So let's say I want to. We'll just use this guy's example. He had a U.S. client. I believe it was a U.S. client. Well, you know what? I'll just make up an example because I don't want to give you the wrong info. But let's say you want to buy $50,000 worth of the pound, and he's going to facilitate that. You're not doing it on margin. You're actually converting 50 grand worth. So what he does is he's going to make that order for you, but he knows that kind of thing might affect the market a little bit. So what he does is he puts an order in himself ahead of his client's order. He puts it in front of his client's order so that his client's order can boost the market and then also, make his trades more profitable. That's called front running, and it's illegal. And to be fair, I mean, he's not the only guy who has done this in the past. I mean, this happens and has happened, forever and a day. I mean, people front run all the time. It's just that this client was suspicious of it. One of his clients was. Anyways, what's interesting is that it said where am I at? Oh, it's a white collar crime, and usually what they'll do is in white collar crimes is if you've been sentenced, they will let you go on your own recognizance, and you have to surrender yourself at a certain date. So like the family can have some last time together before he goes to prison. Now he could have gotten 9 years, but the judge only gave him 2. And the judge thought that 9 years was punitive, but 2 years is fair, and that this is a quote even here. If they're going to arrest every foreign exchange dealer for front running big orders and or talking smack over the phone, there would be many thousands in jail. This guy was in the wrong place at the wrong time. He probably was, but he was heard on the phone saying, "I think we got away with it." I mean, this kind of stuff really pisses me off. And people like us who are retail traders who often feel like we're getting taken advantage of by brokers feel pretty good about this, what happened to this guy. He's got a family. He's got, 6 kids. He's from Britain. But he's going to prison for 2 years for that kind of ill trading tactics. So, crime does not pay. And hopefully this kind of situation puts a little fear into other big banks and market makers that there are federal agencies who are going to love to go after and investigate companies if customers feel like that they have been cheated. All right. And I can't imagine how much money would be distributed to current and past clients if something like this is happening with current brokers right now. So that's good news. All right, we are coming up with 4 minutes left on the hour, taking a look at what is happening with our trades here. Pullback on the dollar yen. We've just kind of returned to our almost close to the open of the hour, a little bit above, a little bit below on a lot of these trades. So want to see what happens as we keep moving on here in the morning. See what gold is doing. A lot of volume there. We'll see if it wants to move higher here or if it's going to continue to face resistance up against this baseline. New Zealand dollar. Traps all around, traps everywhere. Lot of reasons to suspect bull and bear traps all over the place. Yeah, I really don't see much of a change happening here with any of these, so that's a Friday for you. Okay, so we've had big moves last week and we've had big moves this week. All right, we've had periods of long consolidation this week, followed by some relatively fast dumps. And now we need to just kind of watch and analyze what happens by the, there might not be a lot to watch today, but certainly we need to observe the activity that will happen at the Monday open and then, or Sunday open, and then into Monday. We'll see, kind of give us a heads up of what direction. Are we going to see a 50% retracement on a lot of these down moves and up moves, or are we going to see just a continuance of the drive down? That's something to keep track of. So I hope you guys had a good trading week. I know we had some nice moves, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your trading day. Remember to, if you've had a good profitable week, take the day off, leave some profit. Leave on a good note. Don't try to chase more profit or try to regain any losses you may have had. And have a safe weekend, and I will see you all on Monday. Bye-bye.